faculty. I believe many of you haven't met us. We'll do a brief introduction of ourselves, and then I believe everyone has signed up to be one of the 20 people that work. That's in one of the Chinese group. If you have any question or suggestion or requirements or feedbacks regarding this China track, please talk to us. And also, of course, you have our travel partners' email address as well, and you can talk to them if you have specific requirements or information. And my name is Macy Wang. I'm like EC, Section J. And I was born and raised in China. I came to US for undergrad to UC Berkeley, and worked in the States for a couple of years before HBS.
Hi everyone, I'm Kevin. I'm a JD MBA, currently doing full-time in law school, but my university last year. I was in Section H. I was born in New Zealand. Yeah, H. Taiwanese. Love going to China, go there a lot. I think you guys will love it. The people, the food, hospitality, a lot to learn. You might have some culture shock, but I think it's going to be a rewarding trip.
Hello everyone, my name is Zoe, RC Section E. I grew up and worked in China before HBS, and among the 6 group leaders, I'm the most Chinese. So if you have any question about China, come to me. Hi everyone, I'm Swan, I'm Section J, I'm RC. My family is in Guangzhou, south of China. We are known for the best foodie, have the best food, so everything related to food come to me. And I did my undergrad in Hong Kong, moved to Switzerland and then Germany. But I do go back to China every year, and I do speak Chinese, so I could help.
Do you mind to repeat? Just a second.
Hi everyone, I'm Peter Chen. So you guys must receive a lot of email from me. I'm the co-president for Greater China Club. So it's an honor to host this event after we have done it for 5-6 years. I grew up in China. I did my undergrad in Canada, and I worked for BlackBerry and Google before I came to HBS. After HBS, I'm also going to China, working as a venture capitalist. So if any of you are interested in the tech world in China, you should talk to me.
Okay, we're missing one track leader, Kelly Zhang. She will come a little bit later, and then we'll let her introduce herself later. So now we'll pass it on to our travel partner, Nick.
Let me just jump in really quickly. So just to be clear, Justina, question, just want to make sure. So this line should be for those who are Americans, who were born in America, right? As opposed to you used to do something else and now you're American. So if you've got one passport, that's been the only thing. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Hello everyone. All right, again, pleasure to be here. I don't know how many China tracks I've organized actually for Harvard Business School as well as a lot of different schools. My name is Nick Wang. I'm originally from China. I'm the owner of the company called Real China. We're all about being real. I'm sure you know what China is real now. And I just briefly introduced my 2 colleagues who are helping out with a lot of the visa inquiries here at Philip. And Justina, they actually both speak great Chinese and they lived in China for a long time. And so they're the people actually helping us to get this all started. So hope you guys are all excited. Anybody have actually been to China before? Okay, a few. Okay, not bad. Okay. How many people actually been to Far East, like including Japan, Korea, Hong Kong, this place? Okay, a lot more. Okay, awesome. So you guys have a little bit sense of what this is all about. Okay, so let's get started. And give me 1 second.
Nick.
Cool. Cool. So we have a great trip ahead of us, and today my mission is actually to help you be prepared for this trip, know what's about to happen, and know what to bring, what to do, and also go over the itinerary. And we'll talk about some of the travel logistics, and then we'll also talk about how we travel as a group. When we're traveling, we're talking about some serious group here. We're talking about 120 people traveling together. So we have a system set up for this, and also we'll go over some Chinese language. The goal is not for you to walk out here speaking Chinese to each other, but to more or less have a sense of what the language is all about, and also the things that you actually need to know as a short-term traveler in China. And we will not go over the historical backgrounds of all these places we're about to go to. You know, that's going to take days and months and years. And also, I'm not going to ruin the fun of, you know, just showing the pictures of all these places we're going. You guys have probably done some research, but that's somewhat as a surprise. But first of all, we're going to go over the itinerary. We are going to 3 cities: Beijing, Hangzhou, Shanghai. Okay. And of course, we're going to be seeing the Great Wall. We'll have a lot of cultural immersion. There will be some time for shopping and partying. And then we're going to end the trip in Shanghai, have a river cruise, check out the famous Bond, and again, some shopping and partying. All right, so I'm going to go over this really quickly. Okay, what you're about to receive actually ahead of the trip is the trip leaders, the track leaders, and us are co-developing a detailed itinerary with daily activities. What time we're going to start, what we're going to do, where we're going to eat, how we're going to dress, or you know, if there's any requirements and anything, and you know, you need to bring your passport on that day or not. That is coming up about a month ahead of the trip. So you're going to receive a detailed Word documents with, you know, really just everything you need to know about the itinerary. So today, this is not what it's about. This is more like just give you a sense of what the itinerary is like and then answer a lot of questions about the travel logistics. All right. So you guys are flying on your own. There's no group flights. Okay. So if you haven't booked your international flight yet, you might want to do that in the next few days. Okay, I think the tickets are really being booked up. So you're going to arrive in Beijing. What we're going to do is we will provide you with a hotel card. Okay, so upon your arrival, you go through the custom, you claim your bags, and then you exit out of there, and then you're going to, you know, some of them you're probably going to be together, but for those of you who are actually traveling sort of on your own, we'll give you a hotel card so you can get into the official taxi line and show the hotel card to the taxi driver. And then we'll take you to the hotel. Okay. It costs roughly about $20 US, so it's not too bad. It's about an hour ride. Okay. And the cab can take, in theory, it can take 4 people, but with all your bags and all that, I would say 2 to 3 people, depending on how many bags you have. So you can definitely share that. Okay. So you're gonna arrive on your own, and then meet your local guide at the hotel, and then we're gonna have a Peking roast duck welcome dinner on the first night. Okay. Then, next day, we have Tiananmen Square, Forbidden City. We're going to have a lunch with the local Hutong families. And Hutongs, for those of you who actually don't know what Hutongs are, they're kind of like the traditional narrow alleyway neighborhoods, very, very traditional Asian style Chinese living. So we're going to go to the area. We're actually going to bring you guys up to different, you know, visit different families. Okay. And then we'll have a lunch with the local family. And we actually, instead of walking, we're going to be riding these tricycle rickshaws. Yes?
What time is the dinner on Sunday? Or whenever we get?
It's probably going to be sometime around 7 p.m. Yeah. Because most of the international flights actually arrive in Beijing at around 4 p.m.-ish. Okay, so it takes about an hour to go through the customs, claim your bags and everything, so that will be around 5. And with the horrendous Beijing traffic, and you're probably going to take a little bit over an hour to actually get to your hotel. So this should give you a little bit of time to actually check in, unpack, etc. All right? Okay. So we're going to have a good dinner, and then we'll have a transportation to nightclub on the very first night. I hope you're ready for this. And then the next day, you don't want to party too hard, you know, when you first arrival, because next day in the morning we're going to the Great Wall, And the Great Wall is about an hour outside of the city, and it takes about, I think you guys are all in pretty good shape, and it takes about 20 minutes to actually hike up to the wall. So you don't want to be hiking the Great Wall, like jet lagged and hungover and all that, and puking on the wall. But it takes about 20 minutes actually to get up to the wall. And then it's going to be a good hike. It depends on how far you want to go. So we're going to spend probably about an hour on the wall and come back down. And then we'll visit the Temple of Heaven, and dinner is free on your own. Transportation to nightclub, party again. And then the next day, we have an optional tour in the morning. We'll tell you all about that. Actually, there could be some company visits actually setting up by the track leaders. I'll let them talk about that a little bit. And then we'll take the high-speed train to Hangzhou. Okay. Unfortunately, this is not the highest speed train. It is very fast. I think it's about 300 something kilometers an hour. There are some new ones if you're going to Shanghai. I think they might be upgrading this sometime soon. Okay, so the train takes about 5.5 hours to 6 hours. But it's very comfortable, you have a lot of space, and you have dining services and everything, a lot more comfortable than a flight. We're gonna check in hotel, have a good dinner. Again, transportation to the bar. I'm pretty tired of this transportation to the nightclub to the bar. But we have an optional impression of West Lake show by the famous Chinese director, Zhang Yimou. And this is optional show. We'll talk about it a little bit, during the trip, actually, we'll talk about it, let you decide if you want to watch this show. Okay. And the next morning, we'll have a tour of the West Lake Linyin Temple, one of the biggest Buddhist temple actually in Hangzhou. Free lunchtime. All right, I'm not going to repeat that again. And then, on the way to Shanghai, we have a stopover at one of the ancient Chinese water villages. It's called Wuzhen. Okay, so get a sense of what a beautiful typical southern Chinese water village town is like. Optional tour to some museum or wine distillery, fabric workshop. This is all optional activities. And then continue on, bus to Shanghai, go to the hotel, party in Shanghai. Next morning, we'll have the tour of the Yu Garden, go to the bottom French concession, closing there. And then we have a night cruise of the Huangpu River, so you can cruise along the river to see the beautiful skylines in Shanghai. So again, this is a very brief overview of the itinerary. Okay. We'll give you the detailed version about a month and a half of the trip. And then you are flying on your own to your next destination. What I do want to let you know is that Shanghai actually have 2 airports, international airports, depending on if you're, where you're flying somewhere else in China or Southeast Asia or coming back to the US. Be careful on your tickets. Make sure you know which airport it flies from. Okay. One of them is called the Shanghai Hongqiao Airport with the code of SHA. The other one is called the Pudong Airport with the code of PVG. So there are actually 2 different airports, one on the west end, the other on the east end of Shanghai. They're pretty far away from each other. All right, great. So when do you want to talk about the company visits? Talk about that at the end or now? Yeah. Okay, great. Yeah. So let's talk about a little bit about traveling all together as a group. Okay. So how many of you have actually gone on to any treks before or traveling with more than 10 people? All right. So some, not a whole lot. Okay. So we have large groups, and we're being split into 3 different buses. I'll talk about that later. We're not going to be all together at the same time. However, you are going to be sharing the buses. You are going to be sharing meals. You have a roommate, so you'll be sharing your room. There's going to be a lot of sharing. Okay. So please keep in mind about the common interests of the group. For example, please do not be late in the morning. And we will do our best to communicate very clearly what time we're going to depart and where you can find a bus. And guess what? If we say we're going to depart at 8 o'clock in the morning, the bus is going to leave at 8 o'clock in the morning. Okay, so if for any reason, if you're late, okay, we will send somebody to help you to catch up with the group, but the bus is not going to wait for you. Does that make sense? I hope everybody understands because we have 120 people to take care of. If everybody waits, it takes forever to wait. And also, we're going to be sharing some things. I'll show you some of the pictures and some of the group deals that we actually organize. It's really a lot of fun, Chinese family style, lazy Susan. We will do our best to accommodate all the individual requests. Okay. However, at certain times it is difficult that we have to keep the group's interest a priority. As chaotic as it might seem, traffic in Beijing actually has traffic laws. Okay, so we may not be able to pull over anytime you want us to pull over. We may not be able to go anywhere the big bus you want us to go. But we'll explain that to you. Just keep that in mind. Thank you. All right. So international air you're booking on your own. So I'm just skipping that slide. And hotels. We will be staying at 5-star hotels all through the way. Okay, so downtown, the region hotel in Beijing, in the Wangfujing area. So all of our hotels, I don't think you'll be anything too shocking about any of these hotels. It's all Western style, with front desk, concierge, English-speaking services, really good locations. And I think all of our hotels actually include the internet. It's already included for free in our package. So, there's good fitness rooms and swimming pools and all that. And you know what? I don't think that's the latest. We're not staying at this hotel. We're staying at actually the Sheraton Wetland Park Resort. It's more like a resort hotel. This one as well. Okay. In Shanghai, again, we're staying at the People's Square, right in the heart of Shanghai. You can just walk right into the action. And before I go on to a few travel tips, any questions about the itinerary and where we're staying and all that? All good? Cool. All right, so a few traveling tips. Okay. So when you arrive at your hotel, you don't need any reservation numbers or anything. Okay. All you need is your passport. Give it to the front desk. Okay. And then you are required to put down a credit card as or cash, but most people probably use credit card as your security deposit, one per each room. Okay, so you are responsible for your own hotel incidentals. And then please remember to bring a copy of your hotel cards. You can grab it from the hotel front desk with concierge. Bring the copy with you. Put it in your pocket. Bring a few copies with you. Put it in every one of your pockets. Okay? Because that's the one, if you get lost traveling on your own, that's your passport to show the taxi driver to come back to the hotel. Okay? It's very important. You always have a copy of your hotel passport with you. Internet is included. It's very safe. All of the areas that we're staying at, the hotels we're staying at, it's very safe. In general, China is a pretty safe country. Doesn't mean you want to be stupid, but I'll talk about safety a little bit later. Here, safety. Okay, so what we're gonna do for emergency contact information and all that, we're gonna actually print everybody a name badge. Okay. Do you have to wear this name badge at all times? No, you're not required. I know it might look stupid, to wear a name badge actually going to the Forbidden City or hiking the Great Wall. However, you can put it in your pocket if you want to. And for those of you actually going to the company visit, it may actually look a little bit professional to look as a group. So you have a little strap-on pockets, and then with your name on it, and also we put all the emergency contact information. Okay, the local guide, trip leader, my own contact information. The police number, embassy. Well, we're not going to be able to put all the embassies. We'll put a U.S. embassy number in there. So all these emergency contact information is going to be there, along with a language cheat sheet. Okay. So if you ever actually go on your own, you're like, hey, I want to kick up the spice. I want extra spicy. I want beer. I want good stuff. You have the language cheat sheet actually on that. So bring that name badge with you at all times. Stay with your group, at least for the official activities. And unless the tour guide said, look, we're going to dismiss. This may seem obvious, but I know a few of you probably you get to China the first couple of nights, you're like, oh man, what is this? This is different country, you know. And 2 days later, you're like, oh, I can do this. This is easy. Everybody's friendly, right? And I can go on my own. I can share with you like 100 stories about people just hanging out by themselves and, you know, getting drunk and, you know, don't know where they're at and just ended up in the police stations and all that. So please, go out, party and all that, but let's do it together as small groups. Not everybody's going to go together, but don't go by yourself, okay? You will easily get lost, especially after a couple of Long Island ice skates, okay? So please do not leave your buddies alone too. You know, I definitely have stories before. It's like, yeah, we just 3 of us went out, but you know, this guy seems to be hitting on this, you know, local person, and he's having a good time. We're gonna just leave. And before you know, that person didn't have the hotel card, didn't have the hotel address, didn't have money. You know, just end up in the police station the next day. Okay, transportation. So we will have chartered buses for all the organized activities. Okay, air conditioned, new buses, very nice, a lot of space. And we have free buses. So instead of figuring out which buses you're going to, we have names for these free buses. So we have a dragon bus, we have a panda bus, we have a lion bus. Okay. You haven't been assigned to either of these buses yet, but you will be assigned to a bus. Okay. So when it comes to actually the departure time, we're not all going to be, again, all together all the time. It's crazy to think about 120 people actually, you know, just doing everything all at the same time. But when we do have all 3 buses together, these are assigned. And we will give you the assignment right ahead of the trip, telling you which bus you belong. You can tell us your preference now if you want to. But this is how we're going to go with differentiating from 3 different buses. Does that make sense? Okay. And I'd like you to stay on the same bus throughout the trip. If you want to move to a different bus, that's fine, totally fine. But please let us know because we're going to have to do some counting here and there. We want to make sure we don't leave nobody actually alone on the Great Wall Park. So we're going to do a lot of counting, as you can see. Counting 120 people is not exactly easy. So if you could stay on the bus, at least if you start with the bus on that day, stay on the bus at least for the rest of the day, that would be great. Okay. And if you would like to change to a different bus, please talk to the student leader, please talk to us. We'll see if we can accommodate that. Make sense? All right, thank you. That will really help us. And for the time when you're traveling on your own, you're not going to have this bus with you. And so the best way to actually get around in the cities is actually take taxis. I'm not listing all the rates, but they're really affordable. You know, for a normal ride, it usually costs somewhere between $3 to $10. Okay, so it's very affordable. But unless you're really familiar with China, you know how to use these Uber apps or DD apps, and you know, like all these. There's so many like P2P taxi apps. Unless you're familiar with those, or under expert instructions, please do not get into unregistered vehicles. Okay, please only use official taxis. Okay, and this is what official taxi looks like. It has a taxi sign on top of it, and then it has a price sticker on the side, usually around here, and then it has a meter. And the taxi driver is supposed to start a meter. It's negotiating a price. Okay. And always take the receipts after you get off the taxi. Why? Because first of all, if you feel like you're ripped off, you're taking a scenic route, it shouldn't happen. But just in the unlikely case that you feel like you're ripped off, you have the receipt, and we can call the taxi company. And also, if you actually left any valuable belongings, such as a camera, your cell phone, under the taxi, unfortunately, most likely it's just gone. But there's a slim chance of getting it back if we actually have the receipt and call the taxi company. Okay. Is there a question? No, they don't take credit card in the taxis. So cash. Okay. But with all these apps like DD and all that stuff, they take all sorts of mobile payments. So talk about money and mobile payments.
So I want to make a comment here. So later on we will talk about some useful apps that we recommend everyone to install. And our trip is partially subsidized or sponsored by DD. which is like Uber in China, but I think they actually bought Uber China. So Didi just launched their English app, so everyone can download it and you can link your American credit card in it, and then it's very, very convenient everywhere in China. And also WeChat is something that we highly recommend. We almost want to mandate everyone download WeChat, so we'll put everyone in a group with our group leaders, with everyone, and then WeChat. We're thinking about to put some money in your WeChat account, like in case you get lost and you went shopping on your own, like you need to take a taxi, and you can use both Didi or WeChat, and you have some renminbi cash in WeChat, and you can store, because in China many places like all the 7-Eleven, everywhere, street vendor, everywhere except WeChat payment, so it will be very, very convenient. But we will get to that later.
Good. Thank you, Mason. Yeah, we have the slides to talk about money, mobile payments. Yeah. So, subway system, very convenient in China as well, especially in the big cities. So you're welcome to explore that. And there's really good English signs, and there's quite a few lines. So make sure you understand where you're going. But you're actually encouraged to explore the subway system. Don't be fooled by this picture. It's never this empty. Okay. And that's why we have avoid rush hours. If you actually try to take this during this rush hours, we call it in Chinese saying, we feel like you're gonna be pushed against the wall, like a picture on the wall, you know. And there's gonna be that many people. But nevertheless, I think it's a good experience to try. All right. Other logistic issues. I'm actually going to talk about a few of these. I think we have a slide for that. Okay, let's talk about this first. Meals. So this is a typical Chinese family style, lazy Susan style. Okay, so for most of our organized meals, and if you actually go hang out with, any of your Chinese friends, either from here in China, go to a Chinese restaurant in China, the water, it's gonna be like that. It's not for one person to eat all of dishes, it's for sharing. So you usually sit down in this big, lazy Susan round table and have a kind of plate in the middle. You can spin around, back and forth like a DJ, and all these dishes, and whichever you want, you can, try to spin it to the head of you. So it would be a lot of sharing like that. Of course, there's a different style of eating as well, kind of like in the night market. So we are organizing a few meals, but I don't think we're organizing all the meals. So feel free to, we're going to actually give everybody like a survival guide ahead of the trip with some of the restaurants we recommend. There's plenty of different restaurants in both Beijing and Shanghai. I think in Hangzhou too, vegetarian, Western style, different kind of Chinese restaurant. You think there's only Chinese is Chinese, right? But Chinese food is actually very different. Within China, there's really hot, spicy Sichuan food. There's Cantonese food. I'm not going to name them. It makes me hungry. But feel free to try all these different restaurants on your own. We have some recommendations, but we're also going to have quite a few nights that you will actually eat on your own. Okay. And this is very important. No tap water. Drinking tap water is suicidal in China. Okay. I remember there's one night I woke up in the middle of the night. I was just so thirsty. I don't have any water. I just had half a cup of tap water. I was in my bed for the next 3 days. It could be that bad. We will be providing bottled water on our buses at all times. That's included in your trip cost, as long as you don't abuse it. Okay. And your hotels will always provide bottled water. So usually in your hotel rooms, they give you 2 bottles of water complimentary. You can always call the hotel room service or the room service and say, look, I need some additional water. Usually they will give you for free. Okay. So no drinking of tap water. Yeah, everybody got that? Great. WC. Does anybody know what that means? Water closet, right? British English for restrooms. So you're going to be seeing a lot of WC signs in China, and that's what you're looking for in case of your emergency, okay? And they're not necessarily your familiar Western or American toilet style. Very often they're going to look like this. So to me, this is actually cleaner because you don't touch anything, you just swap down. But it may take a little bit of practicing ahead of the trip. Not everybody get used to it on the first day. And also, this toilet paper here is not always there. Okay, so our local guide will also remind you, every day you actually get up to your hotel, bring a small roll of toilet paper just in case, go to a public toilet and it doesn't have any toilet paper. And when you're traveling, when you're out about on your own, what is your best chance? I know a lot of you have international traveling experience. Let me give you just a quiz here. What is your best chance to find clean Western style toilet? Where do you think you have your best chance to find those? Of course, in a hotel, high-end hotel, yes. Anywhere else? But you don't find hotels everywhere. Did I hear Starbucks? It seems like there's, I swear to God, sometimes I feel like there's more Starbucks than hotels actually in China. Starbucks, McDonald's, KFCs, they're probably like every corner. Okay, so you're gonna see the Chinese style toilet, and you're also gonna see the Western style toilets. Okay. All right. So Google, Gmail, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, they're all gone in China. Great. We're gonna have true China immersion trip. You'll be cut off with your internet connections back to the US. Not entirely true, but yes, there's what we call the Great Firewall in China. All these, because the Google services, they're not, they didn't reach agreement with the Chinese government. However, we do have a VPN that we recommend. It's a commercial VPN. It's called Viper VPN. And alternatively, we have Astro VPN that we recommend to you guys. Okay. The last time I tested it back in early January, it was still working very well. There's a lot of servers, very stable connections. So you want to purchase the service if you feel like you want a VPN service while you're in China. If it's important that you need to get to all these Google services or your Facebook friends while you're in China, I recommend you purchase the service before you go, not when you're in China.
There's a Harvard VPN that everybody should download, and it's free. So I use it during the winter, so make sure that you do that.
Okay, so awesome. There's a free solution, I guess. So yeah, your Harvard VPN, you probably want to get it all set up, get familiar with that before you go to China. If that for any reason doesn't work, Viper VPN. All right, and quite a few suggested apps for going to China now.